Have you ever been so tired, but the moment your head hits the pillow, it just don't switch off? You start replaying past mistakes, worrying about the future, thinking about what you should have said, and before you know it, it's already too late. And if you're a highly sensitive person, this happens even more often. Hi everyone, my name is Aditi and I'm HSP coach. I help highly sensitive people step into their true power, their unshakable confidence, and find their true gift so that they can thrive spiritually, emotionally, and freshly. And today we are going to talk about how we can sleep better. Many HSPs struggle with sleep, including me. But the good news is there are ways to reset your sensitive nervous system so that sleep can finally come naturally. First, let's understand why why do HSPs struggle with sleep. It happens because you finally cannot avoid your stress or feelings. In my opinion, at night, all the distractions are removed and only the inner mind is there. So if there is something bothering you, that will come up in the night when you're all alone and there is dark and you don't have anything else to do. And for me, it always have felt like my brain is louder at night than in daytime. Can relate. And it's also about being highly sensitive. Your nervous system is picking up everything. There is emotions, stress, conversations, all of it builds up during the day. So at night, your body might be tired, but your mind is buzzing. That's where so many HSPs struggle with sleep. It's not laziness. It's not lack of discipline. It's overstimulation. On the flip side, HSPs also avoid sleep because nighttime feels like the only peaceful time they get with themselves. They love night because it gives them the solace they could not get in the morning. This is called revenge bedtime procrastination. It means you are intentionally delaying your sleep to reclaim personal time lost during the day. Even when you know it will lead to exhaustion and negative consequences the next day. But the issue here is if you do not sleep properly, then it is going to affect you next day. You will feel grumpy, exhausted, and in the long run, it could also lead to diseases and poor health, especially if you're a high sensitive person. So we have to address the root cause, which is feeling a lack of control on your life and reduce daytime stress. We spend one third of our life sleeping. So it's better we learn more about it and optimize it and prioritize it. Now I know the struggle personally. Some days I'm overthinking and that's why I can't sleep. But on others days, I am just too happy to see and too excited. And I don't want the day to end. I just want to feel good forever. I want to be in that moment. So actually don't want to see. Does that make sense? Let me know in the comments below if that happens to you as I would love to get from you. But you have to understand there will always be tomorrow. There will always be another day to have even more fun. And now it's time to rest and go to sleep. You have to regulate, balance, calm down your nervous system. Or in simple language, you have to relax so that sleep can happen naturally. Because unless your nervous system feels safe, you'll just be lying there, staring at the ceiling, and that's not great, right? Not every day will be the same. That's okay. But if you're seeking well, 80% of the time, you're doing the rate. So, what can we do about it? No need to worry. I'm going to share some wonderful and really practical tips that have personally helped me as a HSP. These are mindset shifts and practical steps you can take to ensure better sleep. These are not just generic tips that you will find anywhere. These are very specific and deep research. So listen very closely and be ready with your pen and paper to take notes. Let's get started. Number one is understanding why sleep is important. Educating yourself about sleep is the first step because it will help you understand why you need to prioritize it. Now you can Google about this because there is tons of information already out there about it on internet. But I will tell you briefly. Sleep is where our body recharges, resets, and heals. And as a highly sensitive person who takes in more information than others, sleep is where our body recharges. So it's very important. Research has shown that HSPs need more sleep than non-HSPs to feel completely relaxed and rested. Poor sleep raises the risk of depression, diabetes, high blood pressure, heart diseases, and even stroke. Since HSPs are more susceptible to stress hormone cortisol, poor sleep can lead to being in a state of constant or chronic stress. So it can seriously impact your health and longevity. So sleep is very important. Number two is sleep is not just about 8 to 10 hours you get at the end of the day. It is about feeling relaxed and having pockets of rest throughout the day. As we discussed in the last video, there are four types of rest. If you haven't checked that video, you can check it out here. And sleep is just one of the four types of rest we lay as a HST. If you include downtime activities and reading, walk in nature, conversation with loved ones, mindfulness, meditation, then it will help you get better sleep at night. It has a compounding effect. In the book Wake Up to See, the author Charlie Moran talks about the science of parasympathetic drive, which is basically like a battery that stores up all our moments of relaxation during the day and then allows us to access that battery of relaxation when we fall asleep at night. That's why people tend to sleep better on vacations because they're doing more relaxing things on vacations than on their working day. So, anytime you do anything relaxing, like sitting on a sofa, taking a nap, taking a warm bath, you're storing up a charge in that parasympathetic drive battery, which sits in your nervous system, regulated by the brain. So, the author Charlie Moore also suggests that the best thing is to try to spend 30 minutes in a state of deep relaxation during the day. It's called the hypnagogic state, which is actually the first stage of sleep. So you wouldn't call it proper sleep. It's before you sleep that state where you feel drowsy when you are lying in bed, but you're not actually asleep. So that mid sleep state that is called hypnagogic state. So this state is very relaxing. It is a deep relaxation state. So you can either take a nap or a better way to achieve this deep relaxation or hypnagogic state is through yoga making. This is an ancient yoga technique for which the scientific term is hypnagogic mindfulness. I will link a YouTube video which you can check out in the description box for Yog Mitra and definitely try it out. It's amazing. So the main point we I wanted to highlight here is that group sleep begins not just 20 minutes before bed. Good sleep begins during the day. It's about spending more time moving yourself into a state of deep relaxation and autonomic balance so that by the time you get to sleep, you won't need the meditation track. Number three is you do not have to sleep 8 to 10 hours in one go. Surprising, right? Sleep expert Charlie Murray says that sleep is highly subjective and personal, and generalizations like you need 9 to 10 hours of sleep per night are incorrect. He suggests that you need 8 to 10 hours per 24-hour period. So sleep doesn't have to come all in one chunk. To prove this, there is a fascinating study with NASA astronauts that compared people who got 8 hours of sleep versus people who got only 4. They then tested both groups on a cognitive ability test, and group who got 8 hours of sleep scored well, whereas group as expected who got only 4 hours of sleep performed worse. But here's the twist. The after getting 1 hour of nap, the 4-hour group performed almost the same as the 8-hour group. So even naps can restore your brain. In fact, their scores were almost identical to those who had 8 hours of sleep. Fascinating, right? Now, this optimistic piece of research will set you free. Let's say you couldn't sleep last night because you kept overthinking, overanalyzing, and worry excessive. One of the worst parts of this feeling is that tomorrow is ruined. But actually, if you can find a way to squeeze in a 1 hour nap during the day, the next day you plan to take a nap, you can boost your neurological level to the same as you would have had if you had 8 to 10 hours of proper sleep at night. Amazing, right? Just lie on the sofa for 1 hour or do yog nidra and you're good to go. And that's enough to boost your neurological level, increase happiness hormones in the body, and decrease cortisol and adrenaline. Sleep can be flexible the same way as we eat. We don't only eat once a day. We might choose to eat 3 times a day. So if you have a seemingly abnormal sleep pattern, which a lot of high sensitive people may have, rather than pathologizing that sleep pattern, know there is a way to work with it. Moving on to the last but not the least, number 4, creating the bedtime routine. I'll be sharing various tools here and you can use a combination of these according to your personal choice. First one is journaling, bedtime journaling. If a lot of things are going in your mind, then journaling and making a to-do list is very helpful. It helps you empty your mind, put all your worries and really stress on the paper. It calms down your monkey mind, like the part of your mind is that is always worrying and thinking about the future, uh, repeating the past mistakes, always in stress mode. You can also write your tomorrow's to-do list so that you don't have to remember it again and again. You have to make peace with whatever you have achieved today and how much you have better today. I used to be so hard on myself that, and I used to be always stressed about uh, like having so many undone tasks at the end of the day, because I was always like, I need to do this is left. But that would put so much stress on you and you will never allow yourself to rest. So make peace with your pending tasks. Make peace with how much you have gotten today. Embrace that. Celebrate your little wins and end your journey practice with a little prayer so that don't worry about the future and you can rest with a grateful heart. Journaling is really helpful, and if you are interested in more techniques you can use in journaling, I can make a separate video for that. Do let me know in the comments below. So journaling is the first. Second tool is taking a walk. It helps you relax and release the stress of the day as journaling day. You can even do a visualization meditation while bathing. Do just visualize every drop of water that is coming to your body is taking the stress away from you. It, it's washing your stress away, cleaning your body, and also cleaning or washing away your stress, fears, worries, and you feel so light afterwards. It helps to connect deeply with your parasympathetic nervous system, telling your whole self that it is safe, rest, release tension, and let go of any need to hold on. So, water is one of the five elements and it is really powerful and it really helps to calm yourself. Third tool is slow breathing. The easiest way to regulate your nervous system before bed is to do it 20 minutes of slow, deep breathing where you take 5 breaths per minute, which is very slow compared to our usual 15 to 20 breaths a minute. How do we do that? We can use a time tracker or you can just exhale for the count of 6 and exhale for the count of 6. If you do 20 minutes of this before bed, the effect on the nervous system will last for about 2 to 3 hours. You are now in the perfect autonomic balance. You are moved out of the sympathetic dominance or stress mode, which means you are now in a relaxation state where you won't need all the other sleep hygiene tips and sleep can happen naturally. I will also link a YouTube video where you can practice this with someone. You can check that out. And let's do this breathing for 1 minute right now. Starting the timer of 1 minute. Inhale for 6 counts and exhaling for 6 counts. Start. Inhale. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Exhale. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Inhale. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Exhale. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Again. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Exhale. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Inhale. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Exhale. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Exhale. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Exhale. Keep. 3, 4, 5, 6. And land per back. If you feel the relaxation after doing this slow breathing, right? Just for 1 minute we did it and you can already feel relaxed. So when you do it for 3 minutes, it will definitely make you sleep better. Moving on to tool number 4, which is turning off your mobile. This is the most obvious one, most like it's common sense. We still struggle to get it. You have to avoid screen time at least 30 minutes before the go to sleep. And even if you put your mobile in the other room or on keep it on the table and but still you end up scrolling on your phone lying in the bed. Are we guilty of it? I am guilty of it. Have used the digital timer, kept my phone far away, but still sometimes I end up scrolling it for. But the trick is to figure out what is your good need that you are fulfilling by scrolling on mobile. This will change everything for you. So what I mean is, when I scroll at night, it is because I want to distract myself. Why do I want to distract myself? Because I'm feeling anxious. And when I scroll on social media, it gives me a little bit of that dopamine hit, which makes me feel better in that moment. My need is to be better. But can I do this in a healthy way? If I feel anxious, I can journal about it. I can break it call. I can talk to a friend. And what also helps me is repeating affirmations and even writing down affirmations like I am safe, everything always works out for me, and all is well. If I want a distraction, I can play calming music. If I need connection, I can reach out to a friend earlier in the day instead of meet. So when you understand your core need, it becomes easier to stop scrolling on your phone. I will give you a journal prompt for this so that you can find what's your need, what is making you scroll on the phone at night. The prompt is, why do I need to scroll at mobile at night? How does that make me feel? Can I fulfill this need in a healthier way? Give yourself time to write, answer this question, and maybe it will not come instantly. But when you keep asking yourself this question, and ultimately the answer will come, and that will help you understand what you actually need and fulfill that instead of scoring on your phone. This is a game changer, so you do try this journal prompt and let me know about it in the comments below. Remember, sleep is not something you force, but it is something you allow. As it is peace, when we learn to calm our nervous system, we are not just sleeping better, we are healing. I hope this video was helpful for you and you learn more about sleep and rest. I will put the links of a few articles that are quite useful if you want to learn more about sleep in the description below. Do not forget to subscribe as we will meet next week at the same time with a new topic. Like and comment below what helps you see better. Let's help each other out. and share this video with someone who will find this beneficial. Take care and sleep happily. See you next time. Bye.